Hello and welcome to TMKF Netrunner. We're looking at round 2 of Swiss from the East Anglian regionals in Cambridge. I'm joined once again by Aashbo.
Hello, it's me. We're looking at, in this matchup, AgInfusion versus ESSA, which you, not Yeti, recently asked in the Discord, would I play this at UK
Would you
Nats?
play ESSA? Because you played a bit of ESSA.
I played a bit of ESSA. I quite like the Lamb Begemot ESSA that
plays a spark.
plays Spark of Inspiration that Tuno kind of refined over the summer. I really enjoy that deck. It's a lot of fun. You asked, would I play it at UK Nats? And I said if there was any amount of AgInfusion, I think the answer is no. We will see how good of a call that is when we watch this game, I guess. But my assumption, I'm already quite nervous about the fact that the ESSA deck does not play a Sentry Breaker. I was loving that fact when I was playing Hammer Built to Last and was shooting marrows left, right, and centre. But playing ESSA, I'd be really scared about running into any kind of like Glacier Jinteki. Because you're already heavily relying on Bankar to get into servers, which is scary enough already, but you also have very limited options when it comes to, if they've got 2 sentries on a server, you've got very limited options to get in. You just kind of have to tank the damage, and the type of sentries that get played in Ag, they're not playing an M&E. It's going to be something that really blows you out if you let it fire.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a world where, ESSA is getting enough sabotages on. AgInfusion wants to have cards to trash cards, wants to be able to replace ice after doing a boop and all that kind of stuff. So there is part of me that wonders if there's a world where the kind of pressure that ESSA is trying to exert is good enough, but there are just too many run this specific server,
Well, the thing is, I found, and what I really liked about the Sparks ESSA deck, I don't know if Mallory is playing exactly that, but what I really liked about it was that you could kind of sit back and play your ESSA game, and the reason Tuno went to 3 running hot and no finality on the deck that got published for Intercons is because I would assume you can play running hot on any board state.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can
Lamb down straight away, which is really nice. And it looks to me like probably that very glare-covered card is a Banhar. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, a token going down on it. Could very well be the Banhar. Interestingly, a quick glance at Bowsley's hand looks like we have a lot of agendas and assets and not a lot of ice. Which I think if you're ESSA is exactly what you want, right?
100%. With that Lamb down, actually, I think you're feeling really good about being able to exert early pressure. If Mallory has Chastushka in hand, you can very easily just send it next turn.
There's a Rashida, there's a Thimble Rig, and some agendas in hand. The Thimble Rig, bit of a problem for ESSA, right?
Oh yeah, massive.
Lamb Begemot does not enjoy repeated breaks of a Thimble Rig.
It forces Mallory to find her Buzzsaw, which,
if she's even playing it,
you're already not happy about having to find the Buzzsaw, let alone like with an ice that can go anywhere and just infinitely protect the server.
Because also you can set up the position as the court player. If there isn't a Buzzsaw, a 2 iced server with a Thimble Rig on the outside is impenetrable for the ESSA.
Yeah, well, not with Bankar.
Not with Bankar, it would have to be 3. Yeah.
So 3 ice server, so you can have, doesn't matter what the other ice is, just 2 face down ice and a Thimble Rig. You can just completely stop them getting in.
I think for Bowsley, resolving this Rashida in the moat is going to be big. I think that we may well just draw up all of that ice that we need. We saw a Hansei on the top of the deck, which is also nice. I assume it's just as easy to play Hansei after Rashida if you need to, Getting down to 5 cards in hand, Hansei really helps with.
There's a Spin Doctor in hand there. I'd be trying to clean up my hand a little bit. As the Ag, you really want to kind of be able to cook a Charlotte for at least 3 turns, probably. Whether
even against ESSA?
Well, this is what I'm saying. I don't know whether ESSA will actually allow that time. In an ideal world...
The card draw is probably actually massive, though, for being able to place up Sabos. Interesting, we see Mallory here. She's taking notes. She's got a bit of paper hidden away from sight.
They're saying she's a good net runner. Me.
Card go in the remote. Hand say review a card into the bin.
Yeah.
And one click left. It looks like it's the Spin Doctor that's gone down into that remote.
I would
that
say
thimble
so.
rig is still in hand. We're putting, or maybe it's a second thimble rig, I'm not sure.
I really think that here as the Ag, even against Essa, you want to triple ice the remote, double ice HQ minimum. Make them really work to get into HQ and get chest.
We install the Begemot.
Installing Begemot from a hand. Now this is a play pattern thing, and I don't know if I was playing it strictly correct, but I used to love, and I think in Ag you can probably afford to do it, I used to love to get my Begemot and Lamb down for free with Retrieval Run or Spark and using Mamie credits and
all of that good stuff
to get it out for free. The Essa is kind of quite poor, I think, generally. You're relying on being able to break most of the ice for 1 or 3 credits.
We just sabotaged one from the top there.
Yeah.
I think it's the Spin Doctor in the remote.
I would say so.
We're pretty safe here from whatever's coming. I saw that we got a second washing in hand as Essa. And we're playing it now. Yeah. Trying to clear out interesting discards. How do you feel about discarding Mad Dash, Ashen Epilogue, and Raindrops Cut Stone on the moshing there?
I would not be playing Raindrops Cut Stone.
You wouldn't be
even once in this game.
Oh, really?
Not like until it. Like I would not be playing it for the card draw.
You got not letting subs fire.
Yeah. No way. I think it's very rare the situation unless you like it's Thimble Rig on the outside and you can bank card through it and you might as well get a card draw off of it.
Yeah.
Like I think your options to actually play Raindrops are pretty slim. I would imagine
you can't Raindrops through an Anansi and feel good about it.
Hell no. The ditching the Ashen Epilogue. I guess we're on Labour Rights and right now
we're very
it's a
early
dead
on
card,
the deck.
but yeah, you're gonna. I think Mallory's definitely gonna want to play that. I'd be surprised if Mallory doesn't end up having to play Ashen at some point in this game.
Interesting.
Unless she's able to totally blow the Ag out and gets lucky on the sabotages.
Right, so we've got the Spin Doctor was installed in the remote, 2 face down cards getting shuffled back in, which I think is like pretty sensible or like pretty expected. The Spin Doctors are like a valuable commodity.
Yeah.
I think probably in AgInfusion we've also got like sprints and stuff, which is like maybe like but isn't half as useful against Essa.
No, it doesn't protect you from things in the bin. It's not like attitude adjustment or drudge work. Drudge work Ag? Is that an archetype?
Oh, I really hope it's not. One interesting thing, so pushing the Nisei with I assume a Lacosta grid. And we're triple icing.
So. This
so
is
it's another
very interesting that Bowsley feels like he has to push at this point.
Still hasn't seen a Charlotte.
If you haven't seen a Charlotte, I guess you might as well push an agenda.
Nisei's good for that.
Yeah. And you'd rather get the Nisei scored early. Have to try and sneak it out after the runner's set up.
Against Essa, are you worried about things like copulation or legwork?
Oh, Bacterial just got stolen off the top by the looks of it.
Okay, so we're going to be here for a minute.
So answer that question again. Copulation.
Are you worried about things like copulation and
No, I don't think so.
Legwork?
Well, you've already got Lamb, at least 1 spark of inspiration.
Well, maybe not.
Well, probably.
But so, because like I remember it being a thing back in the day, I say back in the day, not that long ago, like legwork was a big include for Essa.
Yeah. Maybe you're probably not worried about copulation because this rig is very MU hungry. I think Begemot and Lamb on their own are 4 MU.
Yeah, and then you probably want to get down
a spare one for Buzzsaw as well.
Do you think people are playing Buzzsaw?
They have to.
Mallory.
I like if Mallory isn't playing Buzzsaw, then this remote here has just won the game. Like we know that there's Thimble Rig on it, so Buzzsaw's in there as like a you have to include it type thing, because otherwise there's no way of getting in.
Installing a nuker. So it looks like we've just rearranged the top 7. Now, if Bowsley, who hasn't taken any notes here, but if Bowsley is like much smarter than me, very possible, making those sabotage decisions is now really interesting.
Yeah.
If you know what cards are on R&D, but if you're like me, what will happen is the knowledge of exactly what cards are on R&D
You'll know
will immediately
there's something in
exit
there.
your brain.
Interestingly, Bowsley has just drawn Mick, which is I think a bit of a spicy Aggie.
Yeah, I think that's a Bowsley innovation.
I really like it. It's the border control effect for one less influence.
I think they're the same influence.
No, border control's more for sure. That's the same.
Oh, border control. Sorry, yeah.
Mick
Same
is
as brand.
Yeah, Mick is 2, so you can cut a border control and play a Mick and have 1 more influence. You can cut 2 border control and play 2 Mick and have 2 more influence. So it's very nice, and it's an end the run effect, and it's a meaner code gate than border control is a barrier, and it's a horrific boop target.
Oh
You
my
get
god, having
booped.
one of those on the table.
You get booped into HQ Mick, and you can't break it. You lose half your turn, and you can't be running last click against Ag either. So
Yeah, exactly. There's just no good time to run into it. Obviously, I think Bowsley on 2 Bran here, 1 Mick, and obviously Bran very synergistic card with the AgInfusion ability. Cutting one of those is pretty difficult, I think, but Mick is probably one of the cards that I think is justifiable.
I'd be cutting. You could cut 2 border control, play 3 Mick, 3 Bran quite happily, I think.
Yeah.
You're not really using your influence for.
We're playing a Running Hot. I love Running Hot. I think
Running Hot's a great card.
I love, especially in ESSA where you get the sabotage off, but just like
And in ESSA when you get to play it for free with Ghost Time, just gain 2 clicks. It's beautiful.
It's just nice. There's so much as the corp that I'm like really planning around the runner having 4 clicks. It's just like so common.
It's a really good tool in the Ag matchup as well for if they're trying to set up that board state that's just completely impenetrable. I'm pushing the last agenda and I've got 4 ways to end the run before we even think about the ice.
I think bigger love heart that just got discovered is a steel skin, which is kind of cute.
No,
I quite like that.
Quite nice. But yeah, Running Hot says you better have 6 ways to end the run.
Yeah.
So
what are you thinking is each side here? We're still on around 3-0 still, 15 credits. We've got Brindle Mold Strike Fund, which was a participation prize at EMEA.
Very good. It looks like Bowsley cooked the Nisei for a turn.
Yep.
Which I like.
What do you think here about this Chastushka? What does the text on Chastushka say?
It says make a run on HQ.
If successful, sabotage 4.
Yeah, so it doesn't work if you don't breach HQ.
So if we get ag booped anywhere, do we get the chance to breach that server?
You do get to breach. No, I don't even think it's a May. I don't think it's like diversion of funds.
It's not like one of those ones where, oh wow, we are rezzing the Mick on HQ.
Oh, interesting.
What do we think? It's going to resolve, that's why. Oh no, it's a Banhar target.
It's Banhar, and also Land Begemot does work on it one time.
But it's going to be a card that we can now boop into. So all runs are now scary.
I think here you probably want to... Well, actually, Bowsley knows the top of the deck. Maybe he's perfectly happy to boot Mallory. Maybe he's perfectly happy to let this...
Sabotage 4.
Sabotage 4 and just get close to the cards he wants to see. No, we are booping into Archives, by the way.
Into Archives. And, yeah, it looks like no access effect, which is tough. That's rough.
Yeah. Ag is maybe... It looks like that's what they're discussing now, is my guess.
It would be a very reasonable judge call, I think.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a ruling on NRDB.
Let's read the text of Chastushka, and I'm going to give Not Yeti a job. It's appeared on the screen in the YouTube video now.
I was planning on doing no editing for these. How do you even spell Chastushka?
It's C-H-A-S, I believe.
Yes, Chastushka.
Run HQ, if successful, instead of breaching HQ, sabotage 4. So if you don't breach HQ, if you get booped into R&D or Archives, you can't sabotage and you don't access.
Okay, and there doesn't appear to be a generic ruling about what happens if you get ag booped. It's always an interesting question of those ones that say, if successful, do X.
I would assume like Doof gets.
It looks like we did reveal those cards in archives.
Oh.
I've just reread the flavor text on Justice, which is really funny.
We're all like down here. Androids of Family Salute. Give us all a effing break.
It's got swears in it. It's got swear words in it.
They wouldn't let you print that these days.
They
wouldn't let you print it these days.
These days, since 2022, things have really changed. The culture has got so much more sensitive.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how much I love AgInfusion's ideability. It's so interesting, I think.
Is it interesting or is it totally oppressive? Both?
Both, but skill difference. Simply win the game before they get to that completely oppressive board state. I think people have built the deck. They've had 6-7 years to refine the deck to this like totally oppressive state. And
you think if it came out tomorrow and it wasn't an effect we'd seen before, we'd all be scratching our heads?
Well, I don't think we'd be scratching our heads, but I don't think it would be as good as the deck is now.
Yeah.
Because now it's just, does it have a Corp can end the run effect on it? Throw it in Ag. It's just easy peasy deck building. But I think it's super interesting.
Oh, lovely Brindlemold Ghost Tongue.
Brindlemold Ghost Tongue, I love that one. Very cool.
How do you feel about the games where you don't get Ghost Tongue down?
Oh, really bad.
Oh, really? Is it
Ghost Tongue? I think Ghost Tongue and Mystic Mamie make the deck like solvent. It's the only way the deck has money. Basically, is that you're able to dirty laundry for 5 credits instead of 3. You're able to, Chastushka is an expensive effect. You're not playing Sure Gamble, so with no Ghost Tongue, you're strike funding for 3 credits, not 4.
Yeah. So that turn that just passed, Mallory not making any runs, which I think is a little bit sad on the basis that was the turn where Bowsley had 7 credits.
Yeah.
Which is a big number, I think, in terms of being able to get off successful runs. But realistically, with how much does it cost for me to break? I've got 3 core damage. How much does it cost for me to break Mick? 3 credits one time?
Yeah, 3 credits one time.
I was hopeful that we would be able to get a successful run off there on this turn.
Yeah.
Maybe it's hard.
It is hard, and you look at Mallory's credits.
Yeah.
Mallory also only has 3 credits. The ESA has to be really careful and can really only afford to make 1 run a turn.
Mallory, which with the Ag Boop is basically like taxing you 1 run a turn. It's like
and if Mallory didn't have a good reason to run, i.e. a second Chastushka, it would be very hard to convince me to make another attempt to run after that failed Chastushka run.
Makes sense.
Another Ghost Tongue in the bin. I think we're feeling very sad about that. Oh no, 1 just got put down. That's why the Ghost Tongue got killed.
I see.
Yeah, so to answer your question about, like, I would say Ghost Tongue is, like, not quite. If I had them both in my opening hand, I'd install Marrow first.
Really?
But
okay.
It's
close.
You have to, because if you install Ghost Tongue first and it hits the Marrow and then you don't see another Marrow for 3 turns, you're feeling real sad.
Playing a Strike Fund. I always find... I haven't played Esser in a long time, but I always found that playing Mystic and Ghost Tongue in the same deck was really difficult.
No, so good.
It is good, but there are a lot of 1-cost cards in the deck, right, that just don't allow you to take those Mystic
but this
counters.
deck is playing Spark, Retrieval Run.
We've not seen any of those cards.
We haven't, but they are. This deck is. I would be really, really surprised if Mallory was just hard drawing for the expensive installable programs. You've got Spark, Ghost Tongue, Chastushka.
We're playing a Tempo Laborites.
Mallory's pretty close to the bottom of the deck here, I think.
We've still got at least 5 cards left in there. What are we shuffling back, do you think? Getting the
Ashen, probably a Chastushka.
Is a compilation in the deck.
There is a compilation. Spice, bit of Spice.
So no Spark.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Did I see 2 Oh no, their moshings in there. I thought they might have been cookbooks. I was getting very confused.
This is very interesting. That's really interesting that there's no spark. I guess Mallory just got lucky off of the draw because they came down really early.
They did. But at the same time, we've not actually broken a single piece of ice, so...
That's Ag, though. That's not the Esser deck.
It's very interesting.
Compilation says to me that they...
Bowsley
that Mallory is not on Buzzsaw.
As well, yeah. I didn't see a Buzzsaw in the piles.
Can you double check the MU of Begemot? I can't make it out.
I think Begemot is 2.
I think it's 2 MU, but it might be 1 because it is just a fractor.
It's
no,
2.
2 MU. So, that's all 5 of Mallory's MU on compilation. I'd much rather be playing...
I understand it though. It's Central's pressure. It helps to do with some of those combo decks that have big pieces.
But now Mallory is locked out by 1 Thimble Ring.
That is very
that's
true. If we, I mean, it may be the case that we can literally never run this for a moment.
There is like a kind of thing where it's like I like the idea of doing the cute thing and making the hard call of like I don't need this.
I'm gonna dodge.
But in my heart, I say I want to be playing a Fractor, a Killer, and a Decoder. Even if I don't plan to use them, I should have them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you just get locked out by a 2-cost code gate.
Maybe we saw, I think, a fermenter go past as well. I think it was one of the QTM or art fermenters, or it might have been a botchless. So maybe there's a world in which...
Maybe there's some viruses going on.
Yeah, maybe there's a world in which we're doing some more stuff.
Maybe you did see Cookbook in there.
I would be very surprised to see Cookbook in there. Cookbook's one of those cards that, until it was like played in Mulch last year, I basically didn't realise existed as a card. Hadn't seen it.
It's one of those weird ones because it should be a core piece in every virus deck, but you can't really play 3 of them.
True.
So there was so often when I was playing Lou, before they banned Knobcurie, RIP, I always wanted to play Cookbook because simul chipping your botchless with 2 counters on it felt amazing. So often Cookbook was in the bottom 5 cards and gave you 1 extra virus counter in the whole game.
These 1-cost run events are making this maybe very threatening at the moment.
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
This was always my experience. Was just that, a couple of times a game you get a sure gamble off and it feels amazing.
Yeah.
Because you've got a full credit reduction. But the turns where you weren't doing that, Mystic was a bit more of a liability than anything else. So we're resing a Tattoo Bowler on HQ. I feel good about Tattoo Res. If I'm Bowsley here.
Yeah, for sure. One,
still breaking for 1.
Gets you 2 credits, yeah.
We'll take the damage to draw a card. It's a hit a steel skin, so that's good.
Very nice.
For Mallory. And then, 3 credits to break.
Mallory is on 5 core damage right now. She's feeling... I think you just can't take any more core damage now.
Really?
That puts you on 3 hand size, 5 core damage.
I mean, Bowsley's not going to be proactively trying to get the kill off. It just does make Banhart a lot harder if you're...
That's what I'm saying. I think you really can't... There's no advantage to it. Begemot doesn't get... there's no reason...
Last turn of the game we can send another running hot, I guess, but...
Yeah. Yeah, if it's the difference between winning and losing, then you just do what you got to do. But I think Mallory...
Oh,
that's
huge
good
for Mallory here. Really now got a chance to stay back in this game.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where... And she's got 6 points now. This is massive. You're feeling pretty scared.
We're resing a border control
for free.
I wonder... I know there's a Thimble Rig on them. Or I'm 90% sure there's a Thimble Rig on them.
I think there's middle ice is Thimble Rig.
Okay. I would have been tempted to just take one of those R&D reses, which feel like a much more... Actually, S's way of winning the game.
Maybe, but
if Bowsley knows that the remote server is technically penetrable, then maybe I'm wrong. But my guess is that any 3 ice basically...
Yeah. This is a really tough spot for Bowsley now.
It looks like next turn Bowsley's going to get Bacterial Fire, though.
Yeah, so...
Bacterial can just win you the game, especially in this situation. If you are able to keep in mind what cards are where.
Bowsley's going to be able to, if there's a 4-2 in those top 7 cards, he can make it so Essa can't steal anything from R&D and can
also
immediately jam a 4-2.
Yeah, he's going to have a click.
Yeah. He can immediately jam a 4-2 between Ag, Border Control, and Nisei. He's keeping Mallory out of this server for 3 clicks. If there's a Thimble Rig on there, he doesn't even need to do that. He can just res Thimble Rig.
Yeah. And so I think what we're looking at, and this is one of the things I find quite difficult when playing against AgInfusion, is that you'll look at a board state like this with the Corp on 2 points, and you might think to yourself that it's kind of like an innocuous board state, like I'm gonna, I've still got lines, I've still got outs.
Yeah, for sure.
And it turns out in actual practice, this is the penultimate turn of the game.
Yeah.
Like
It's up to...
Oh, it's a second Nisei.
Ooh, that is
We do have 2 Nisei counters now.
But it looks like there's Bacterial in hand, which is now going into the remote.
But we're not necessarily winning this turn. And we do have the clicks to advance. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's now... like
we're on 5 credits.
Yes, like you were just saying, it's kind of up to Essa to win this game now, because... you were saying this looks like a bit of an innocuous board state. No, Ag is winning next turn unless Mallory is able to pull off a win now.
Yeah. We've got 4 end of the run effects for the remote, essentially.
Yeah.
So there is no world in which you can get into the remote server.
And there's no world you can get a finality off either. If finality is a...
Click 1 labor rights thing, I assume just for put 3 running hot in the deck.
Mallory needs a way to multi-access, and it's event-based.
Because if you play multiple running hots, maybe you can get into the remote server this turn.
No. Because Essa, can't... if any of these is a code gate, Border Control says Essa can't get in.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
but also, and in resing a Thimble Rig, we just have the money to score out afterwards.
Yeah. All Bowsley needs to do here is res Thimble Rig, which we've been talking like it's on the remote. I'm 90% sure we saw it go on the remote.
Yeah, it was that lovely Scott Bingo art, but I think it is, which is one of my favourite arts.
That is a fun one.
The cups moving around.
But yeah, it's really hard here for Mallory to win this game because Finality gets switched off by Nisei, Chastushka gets switched off by Nisei, and Agboop as well. Finality gets switched off by it's really hard for Mallory to win off centrals.
You're gonna play running hot. You're gonna run R&D. You might be able to trash something and run back. But so we're playing it.
Yeah, I guess you kind of have to rely on Sabotage here. I guess
we're going up to 5 cards, 5 clicks. 0 cards in hand. I'm gonna go up to 1 card in hand. We've got enough credits to break some ice. I think if I'm Mallory here, it's run R&D, run R&D, run R&D. See if Bowsley's going to use one from the top.
Bit spooky.
Looked at it. So if you're Bowsley and there's an agenda in archives here, there's nothing you can do really unless Mallory misplays it, which very easily done because if you run with less than 3 clicks remaining, checking archives.
Yeah. Well, there's no ice on archives.
No, but there's 2 Nisei.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Okay, we run it, nothing in there. 4 clicks left, 2 Nisei counters. So you've realistically got maybe 1 click left to do something meaningful.
Yeah. And I think...
Is it just run R&D?
If you just end the run. You just get Agbooped. I think...
We have 1 card in hand. It could be another...
I would be thinking...
Running hot?
I think what you do here is you try and get into HQ.
Oof.
That's what I think, because you just get Agbooped and Nisei'd off of R&D. He only has 2 end the run effects for HQ.
But you can't... If you get Nisei'd... Yeah, see the top card, it's not it. Because you'd get Nisei'd off of HQ and then you wouldn't be able to make the Mick again.
That's true.
I think that was the last good run that Mallory could have made. Yeah. And I think Mallory did everything.
Mallory has played it very well. This is what I mean. It's a very tough matchup for Essa because Ag is relying on taxing your money, but also taxing your available clicks. And this Essa, this Lamb Begemot Bankard rig can only really make 1 run a turn. And that is basically saying you can't make a successful run against Ag, I think.
We did just pick up another running hot. Obviously, it doesn't sabotage this time around.
Yeah.
But maybe we can use it to scoop something up.
How many clicks has Mallory got left? Can we see? We've got 2 clicks left.
2 clicks, I think that was...
Up to 4.
Yeah.
But you've not taxed out Bowsley's...
Top card of R&D is safe.
And the run effects.
Playing the Ashen.
Interesting.
With the... maybe you're saying, hey, that's not a 5-3. At a certain point, you have to do that, right?
Yeah, you could just say, like, that's not the win. I have to set up as if this isn't the win. Because I think, Mallory's a good player. I think she can run the numbers and see that she's not getting into that remote.
Yeah.
Border control, ag, 2 Nisei counters. You need 5 clicks minimum to get into that remote, and that's assuming you can actually crack the ice.
But if that's your goal, then what you should be doing is trying to get them to spend these Nisei counters this turn.
I think so. I think what you need to do as the Esser here is you need to running hot,
pressure the remote,
and pressure the remote, even knowing you can't actually get in.
Which Mallory might not. The thimble rigs, I don't think she's seen them. So.
But I mean, like, even knowing you can't get in because of these various end the run effects.
2 running hot removed from the game there.
But I do think you have to try and force these out, because if not now, when? Because if that is a 4-2, if that's the 3rd Nisei, like...
When are you getting in?
Yeah, you're never getting in. So I think you do have to try and pressure and force out those effects. I think I would have been thinking... Oh, there we go. That's the game.
Very well played by both players, I think.
We'll never know if that was a thimble rig. Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a really tough matchup, I think, for the Esser. And... can be pretty tough to get going as the ag. The ag didn't get the pressure Charlotte triggers that you want.
Yeah. Ended on 5 credits there. Like, it'd be super easy to overextend.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the early game, it's always, as always against Esser, it's a little bit of luck, but a lot of skill to not kind of get tilted off because the cards you need from R&D are now going in the bin, even if they're not points. You still need ice as ag, especially. Like, Bowsley did very well to navigate the early game. And I think Mallory did what she could in the kind of mid and late game, but I really think at that last turn, there was very little... Yeah,
and I think that ag going from 2 points to 7 points so quickly, always...
It always throws you off. Like, as soon as if they've had Charlotte cooking for a while and you've picked up 2 to 4 points, you might think you're winning. But if they then trash the Charlotte and push, you've got 3 turns to win the game.
Yeah, which just might not be possible. Sometimes the bacterial scores just totally lock you out of those situations.
Yeah, it's it's a really tough matchup. We'll never know if that was a thimble rig on the remote. We didn't see it. I was 90% sure. I think. Honestly, the only mistake I could say that Mallory made there was not trying to pressure those Nisei counters. As we know, it was irrelevant because Bowsley would have won anyway. But I think the correct thing to do there is try and force... Like, I know why you'd be looking at the Chastushka in your hand and looking at the Nisei counter on the table and going, well, they'll just Nisei counter me. But those sort of effects are the only way you can go, okay, I'm going to pinhole Threading Archives and I'm going to go trash your Lacosta, and then they have to spend the Nisei counter, and that's one less end the run effect for them to use.
I also note, it didn't come up this game, but I was really hoping it would, that Bowsley is on 1 copy of Sisyphus Protocol, which would have been the worst agenda to score against Esser. Oh my god.
That's so bad.
Oh, I cannot imagine how upset you would be.
I built and played a little bit of Sisyphus Ag when Sisyphus first released, and for the health of Norwich Pub Runner, I stopped playing it because it was so oppressively bad. It was like
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Regenesis, Sisyphus.
So I think Soccer's List plays 1 Offworld Office.
Yeah, so this is in the Offworld Office slot. No, it looks like it's taken the place of a Nisei.
No, there's a 3rd Nisei up. There must be an extra Nisei.
There must be another agenda, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's taken the place of a 4-2.
Yeah. And I think it's the Offworld, which makes sense to me. I mean, it might be the case that it's like a kind of difficult and impossible to score.
To be honest, no, because, as the ag, I think I would much rather score a Sisyphus than score Offworld, in my opinion.
We timed this badly.
No,
the video's going to have faded to black.
No, the video has faded to the come to UK Nats.
Come to UK now. Buy your ticket now for UK Nationals.
Yeah.
The 2nd biggest Netrunner event of the year.
After
by
Worlds.
all accounts.
Is it bigger than EMEA?
It'll be bigger. It'll be bigger than that.
It'll be bigger, badder, sweatier,
Better,
sharkier, better.
funner.
He's coming for you, Etienne. UK Nets better than EMEA. You heard it here first on TMKF Net
I
right
didn't know. I really like Etienne. Right. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, we've got 2 more of these that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you later.